Hey everyone, welcome to the Guitar Hero 2 review. And this is going to be one of my few videos that's actually two games in one because I decided Rocks the 80s wasn't significant enough to get its own video. I might do the same thing with 3 and Aerosmith, but I'll have to see if I just bundle the band games together in one video or give Aerosmith to the GH3 video like how I'm formatting this one. Guitar Hero 2, literally almost to the day released a year after the first game. See, Activision was always doing this bullshit, guys. This isn't a new thing. I won't really go into the gameplay in this video. You can just watch my original Guitar Hero review if you want to. It didn't go really in depth. Basically, just press the buttons, hit the strum bar when the notes hit the strike line, and you're good. But this time, this is an actually fun rhythm game to play because Guitar Hero 1 came out of the depths of rhythm game hell in terms of some of the mechanics like hammer-ons and pull-offs, which they completely revamped that. And by revamped it, I mean they just removed the requirement to hold the note before. Seriously, who at Harmonix thought that was a good idea, like gameplay-wise? I guess it kind of makes sense looking at how you would actually play a guitar, but that doesn't equate to fun gameplay, especially with how tight these early engines are. Actually, Harmonix's engines tend to be really tight timing-wise, just in general. That carries over into the Rock Band game. Though, the interesting thing about this one, this is the only game in the series to have a last-gen port and a next-gen port on separate console families. Because this was only released on the PlayStation 2 and the Xbox 360. Guitar Hero 1 was originally supposed to be released for the original Xbox, but a whole legal thing, I think with Konami and Guitar Freaks, screwed that over because Mad Catz backed out last minute. So we almost got Guitar Hero 1 on the original Xbox, which would have been kind of insane to see. But yeah, this one released on the Xbox 360 because the 360 was, if I am correct, the first one of that generation to release, and Microsoft had basically just cut all support for the OG Xbox, so they just had to port it over to the 360 instead of actually putting it on the original Xbox. Getting into some other gameplay changes and additions and improvements. Hyperspeed. This is the first game that Hyperspeed was ever included in. And with my Guitar Hero 1 review, I actually had to get used to the old slow scroll speed. Because whenever I play like Rock Band or later Guitar Heroes, I have to have Hyperspeed on because it looks so slow to me. However, with stuff like drums, I have to have it on normal scroll speed because it's more accurate to how it's played. The timing's more accurate, or at least it's easier to read more accurately. And with other things include, multiplayer is included for the first time in the series as well. You have cooperative and pro face-off. And then practice mode is also here for the first time. Another major thing, lag calibration got added, which is really important because the first game didn't have it, mainly because it was just a PS2 game. So if I am correct, there's no desync between video cables and the console, but like HDMI being introduced with the 360 version. I guess they just made it for both versions, just cover each base in case people were running their PS2s off of HDMI. And also progressive band is supported on the PS2 version. That's just pretty much the major changes to gameplay aspects and everything, which this game is a legitimate improvement on Guitar Hero 1. Like, holy shit, the quality difference is insane. And this is actually probably in my top 3 of Guitar Hero games because I don't know what they did. This game just hits different. I would call me insane. I would probably put this above GH3, but that's probably because I have nostalgia bias because this was one of the Guitar Hero games that I've probably poured the most time into. So with all of that out of the way, why don't we get to the career mode? I'm not going to go really in-depth on career mode. It's the same thing as Guitar Hero 1. You go through the several different tiers while you're on your world tour, making money, buying guitars and characters, all that stuff. It's the same shtick, pretty much. Almost the exact same, though there is a few differences here and there. I will give them credit. I really like the venues here. It's a legitimate improvement. Even like the PS2 version, I'll see if I can pull up a comparison. Even the PS2 version is like a visual upgrade compared to Guitar Hero 1, and it really shows how they were figuring out how all this stuff worked. Credit to Harmonix for making the best out of limited hardware here. While it is pretty similar to Guitar Hero 1, one of the biggest differences, just between the different versions is that on the Xbox 360 version, you have 8 added tracks, which they completely change up the tiers. I'll put the tier scroll on the screen right now. But like certain songs that I can exactly remember, like Heart Shaped Box gets shifted up into tier 1 instead of being a tier 2 song. Monkey Wrench went from tier 3 to tier 4. And some like Tattooed Love Boys gets a whole like giant tier shift where that went from tier 3 in the PS2 version to tier 5 in the Xbox version. Man, I almost forgot to mention characters. There's 3 new characters in this game, 2 of which would end up being icons of the series by the end of it. Eddie Knox, Casey Lynch, and Lars Umlaut. Oh my god, did they name it after the accent in his name? That actually, I'll give him that. That's funny. Then you have the entire returning cast of Guitar Hero 1. They all just have new designs. Though the most drastic redesign would be Clive and Xavier Stone. They easily had the biggest redesigns. Xavier going from like this new metal looking guy to just a straight up like 70s, 60s like punk sort of look. And then Clive went pure like 60s Beatles look. Like he's a psychedelic guy now. Not going into detail about the career mode, I will say that I love the venues in this game, especially on the 360 version. The visual fidelity they gained from the next-gen hardware on this is absolutely amazing. It looks very smooth. I'm honestly impressed with how well this aged for a game that is not a launch title, but fairly early into the 360's lifespan, like a year after it released. Pretty impressive how well it looks still today, or at least I think it looks well. I guess that's the benefit of having a more cartoony art style versus trying to do realism. Oh yeah, I forgot to talk about the set list too. So, going into this, the set list is fairly balanced on like well-known songs and not well-known songs. A lot of it is from the 70s to the 90s. There are a few modern songs in here, but majority of the songs that you see are going to be from the 70s to the 90s. Though there's some interesting choices here, like Bad Reputation by Thin Lizzy, and like Can't You Hear Me Knocking by the Rolling Stones, Hush by Deep Purple. Like, as a kid playing this game, I didn't recognize most of these songs, but they're pretty good. Honestly, going through the game again, it was interesting hearing all of these again. Though, big thing for this game, this is the first Guitar Hero game that actually have master recordings. So, Dead by My Chemical Romance, John the Fisherman by Primus, Possum Kingdom by the Toadies, Stop by Jane's Addiction are all the studio master recordings, whereas everything else is done by Wave Group, who was the studio that, not studio, or would it be a studio? Recording group. The Wave Group recording group is who did all the covers for this game, 1, some for 3, mostly DLC in Guitar Hero 3, and also some main set list and a lot of DLC for Rock Band. They were playing both sides when these games were still relevant. Oh, time to bring up this. They missed the ball on some of these covers. Like, Beast and the Harlot by Avenged Sevenfold. That has got to be the worst one in this set list, at least in my opinion. It is so bad. They should have gotten a different vocalist because it feels like he can't sing the proper range for this song. And also, like, in the intro, the bass is super loud for some reason, which from listening to the original, they don't do that in the song. The bass isn't that really high in the mix. It more blends in with the guitars. Oh, and yeah, spoilers for, what is this? Oh, yeah, 19-year-old game. Freebird is the final encore song, which I'll probably put some footage of it here. I didn't do a new career mode specifically for this video, but they literally have an entire bit where, like, you know how you finish the song and then you have the encore screen, like, oh, play an encore? They do this whole bit. I think they did it also for Guitar Hero 1. But they do the whole bit where it's like, oh, do you really want to play this? Do you really want to play this? It's Freebird. Do you really want to play Freebird? I honestly found that hilarious the first time I did it, and I love it because it's a callback to Guitar Hero 1. Because I think the initial joke, like they did sort of a similar thing where it's like, oh, do you really want to play it Encore? They're asking for Freebird, and I think it ends up being Bark at the Moon. I forgot. I haven't played Guitar Hero 1 since I did that review, so. Oh, and the bonus set list is pretty interesting as well. There's a lot. I actually like a lot of the stuff from the bonus set list here, like Elephant Bones by That Handsome Devil, Collide by Anarchy Club, Jordan, the most iconic song from this game by Buckethead, Thunder Horse by Death Clock, and also Trogdor by Strong Bad, aka the song that you can't FC on the NTSC version of this game without like messing with it or modding it in any way. And this was also the first game with DLC. However, as you can tell by the tone of my voice, I am young. I was not alive when this game still had well, no, I was alive when this game had DLC. I would have been like 3 or 4. But yeah, when I played this, it was all delisted, so you can't access the DLC anymore unless you mod your console. Also, I gotta say, the guitar selection in this game is fairly unique because it's a mix of like oddball models from the previous decades and then some 2000s models of Gibson guitars. Then you also have some just unique one-offs like the Melody Maker, which is sticker bombed. You also have the Sonics, which was kind of a weird pull, honestly. Though I like how the Sonics looks. I wanna actually buy one someday, mainly because of this game actually. But I like it. And then there's obviously the bonus guitars you get for completing each like career mode on each difficulty and all that, like the axe log. Oh yeah, I do love the log guitar. That's a pretty funny one, referencing the initial concept of a solid body guitar. And on top of that, you also get 2 bonus videos this time instead of 3. Though I do understand why they did 2, because this one, the bonus videos this time, is just like a getting to know harmonics video, which was pretty funny. I thought it was alright. Though the one I love, and I rewatched a shit ton when I used to play this game constantly, is the Wave Group video, which shows you them making each cover and like everything in the studio and all that. I found it very interesting when I was younger. I still find it interesting today. I like looking at all the equipment they're using for each song, though I do find it funny that they record Killing in the Name of on a humbucker guitar when Tom Morello historically has only used his Telecaster for that, and that guitar is unmodified and still has a single coil. So if they wanted a more accurate tone, they should have just gone for a regular Telecaster. So yeah, other than some like chart overlooks and stuff in terms of like the strum limit and everything, I'd say this is a fairly great follow-up to Guitar Hero 1, especially with the gameplay improvements and everything. And obviously visual fidelity with the Xbox 360 version, which would only get better with each entry. Though with Guitar Hero 3, I have my qualms with it. I'll get into it when I review it. So, with that, Guitar Hero 2 gets a 9 out of 10. And that will probably be... I will probably change my mind later, but as of right now, I feel like it deserves a 9. Improves on the original, making it an even better experience. Visually, it looks great, still nearly 20 years later. And most of the charts are fun, and a lot of the song selections are solid. Yeah, that was Guitar Hero 2. Now, instead of ending the video right here, we are going to tackle Guitar Hero Rocks the 80s. Now, I don't have a lot to say about Rocks the 80s, considering gameplay-wise and graphics-wise, it's pretty much on par with Guitar Hero 2. Though, there's less content. It's 10 less songs in the PS2 version of GH2. There's like one less venue because it's only goes up to the harmonics arena, and there's not even any unique guitars. There's unique skins for half of the roster because it's only Johnny Napalm, Judy Nails, Izzy, Pandora, Axel, and the Grim Ripper, which they all have unique looks for this game. Which Johnny's sort of like a surf or skate punker. It's not really accurate to like punkers in the 80s. It looks almost something like that you would see in the early 90s with a skateboarder. I could be wrong though. And then Axel, metalhead. Grim Ripper has a Flava Flav clock and 3D sunglasses, which I think is fucking hilarious. Izzy is still just the same genre he's been because he was already an 80s stereotype. Judy is like I don't know, just like a female rock star of the time, pretty much. Pandora is like an art rocker, new waver type. And the venues, the only differences with the venues is I think they make the they make the lighting like rainbows and stuff. Like they change the coloring slightly in some venues. They change the lighting slightly. That's about it. And the set list is alright. It's mostly just like heavy metal stuff and some rock stuff. There's Police Truck by Dead Kennedys, which I think is the only punk representation. And then there's Only a Lad by Oingo Boingo, which is I think also the only new wave representation you get in this. And also some songs are clearly just placed or charted in a rush. Like Ballroom Blitz, which is based off of a cover of it by a band called Crocus. There's a solo that is literally impossible to fucking play because of the note limit, or I think it's the strum limit or the note limit. I forgot what it is. But like you can't physically play it properly, or at least humanly possible, without fucking with this note limit or anything. It's literally that bad. And then you have Because It's Midnight by Limousine, which makes this the second Homestar Runner appearance in Guitar Hero, which I find funny. Originally, I Want Candy was going to be in the first tier. It was the first song that they were going to add into the game, like the first song you were going to play in the set list. And they removed it, and Because It's Midnight was originally going to be a bonus song, obviously, because it's not from the 80s. But they put it into the second fucking tier, which causes an insane amount of fucking skill gapping. Or just like a skill jump, which I actually have footage of the chart here, so I'll probably be putting that over this little segment. But, like, it starts out normal. It's mostly fine. I was able to pass it, but holy shit, that solo. Why the fuck did you think it was a good idea to put it in second tier? You should have shifted it to the final tier, and then put a song from the third tier up here. That would have made more sense than putting Because It's Midnight in the second tier of the set list. And there's not much to talk about. There's not really any bonus Oh, I almost forgot. The guitar on the cover that Pandora has, I don't know if it's a bug with my copy, because I have like 2 dead copies of this game somehow. And I don't know if it's the copy of the game or you have to do some specific requirements to unlock it, but the Flying V2 with the ice crackle finish is not in the game. Or at least for some reason I have a version of the game where it's not in the game. Which is like, why would you do that? Why isn't it in the game, man? Come on. You make an original design just to put it on the cover? That's ridiculous. So, with all that, Guitar Hero Rocks the 80s is clearly rushed. The song selection's decent, but there's a lot of skill gaps and just like, why did they chart it like this? Why did they choose this version? Like, and obviously you don't have there's a lot of characters that you do in Guitar Hero 2 base game. Like a lot of characters are missing. I'm gonna honestly have to give this a 4. It's subpar. I understand they were in a rush, but I can't excuse how badly this was rushed out. I don't know if it was because of a contractual obligation to Activision or whatever before they got bought out by. Was it Paramount or Viacom? I think bought them out because they worked with MTV Games. This is such a like disappointment, even as like a quote unquote DLC, because this pretty much is like an expansion pack for Guitar Hero 2 rather than its own game. But it's not. I don't really ever find myself coming back to this one. I just have it because I wanted to collect the games, and that's the only purpose it serves really for me. So yeah, Rocks the 80s gets a 4. Honestly, if I feel like I'm being too harsh. If you think I am, let me know. I want to hear what y'all think about Guitar Hero Rocks the 80s. Personally, I just think it you could just delete it from the universe and we would probably be all right, aside from people F-seeing Ballroom Blitz somehow. So yeah, that is my review of Guitar Hero 2 and Guitar Hero Rocks the 80s. If you like it, like it. If you dislike it, dislike it. Please subscribe. I'm trying to, improve my content, put more effort into it. I really hope some of y'all get enjoyment out of what is basically me rambling over gameplay and giving review scores. I do plan to up the quality soon. I'm gonna try experimenting with stuff like different formats and everything soon. Yeah, that was the video. I'm out.